You mean I have to be non-snarky for 45 minutes?
Okay, here we go. I hope we have some people joining us on MAIS TEC. All right, I think we've got someone who's going to open.
Yes, this is Kathy Shear, our principal.
Hi, just wanted to welcome you all to St. Francis. We're very excited to host you. Come back anytime, and we love having you, and we love what MAIS TEC does. Randy Moore just told us so many great things that you all have taught us, so thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Vicki Torres is our STEM teacher. So they're
okay, that's great.
So, thank you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
All right, thanks. Thank you very, very much. Well, I'm so glad that those of you who could come came, and I hope we've got some people joining us virtually. I don't know, we'll see. I did want to share something with you real quick. I was looking up, you know, I always try to find something different. How many of you guys like Star Wars? I love Star Wars. Okay, you remember the third movie of Star Wars, whenever the stormtroopers were in the woods and they were on those hovercrafts? Okay, you gotta watch this. This is pretty cool.
It looks like something
I don't know if you need to adjust the video.
quadcopter
You see it?
in the initial stages of testing before a human pilot takes a seat on it. The concept was developed by New Zealand inventor Chris Malloy, who wanted to build a small and cheap aircraft for cattle driving and land surveying.
I mean, does that not look exactly like things in Star Wars?
Manufactured the prototype, which the U.S. technological company Service Engineering is testing for possible military use.
This craft was designed from the ground up for someone to get on and off. This one provides the stability of having four rotors, so you're not as sensitive to center of gravity issues. But they're not so separated that there's problems with getting on and off the craft.
During a demonstration, the remotely controlled scale model performed beautifully, carrying a dummy pilot called Buster. The U.S. Army thinks it could someday carry soldiers flying low over rugged or dangerous terrain.
I just wanted to show you that because I thought that was absolutely cool. Is that not neat?
Yeah.
Absolutely neat. Okay, then there was another one I wanted to show you real quick, which is, I'm not really sure what that one's about. Hang on, it is over. Oh, it's this one right here. And this I thought was absolutely the coolest thing. It's after Helix. Here we go.
Years ago, we started GoTenna to solve the no service problem. We set out to make it possible to use your phone even when you don't have cell reception or Wi-Fi.
After a lot of hard work, we developed this device, which is the first and only way to use your smartphone to send text messages and GPS locations to others over long distances, even when you don't have any service of any kind.
Our award-winning product has been enjoyed by tens of thousands and used all over the planet while adventuring outdoors, traveling abroad, attending crowded events, or even during an emergency.
Over the last year, we've been working on a next-generation product. It lays the foundation for a kind of communications network that has never existed before.
And now we're finally ready to share what we've been working on and invite you to be a part of it.
Has this ever happened to you? You're traveling with friends in purchase car, and everyone has a different adventure plan for the day. Ming wants to climb a mountain and take pictures. David and I want to find a river and enjoy the sun. And you just want to find a right height spot to buy some fun. Because you don't go to purchase car without trying the right height spot. The problem is my phone has no service in purchase car. And I still want to know what my friends are doing. That's why on this adventure, we each brought a GoTenna mesh. Once paired with your phone, GoTenna mesh generates its own radio signal so you can send text and GPS locations using a simple app. No towers, routers, or satellites required. Send and receive. I can send a direct message to David, a group chat to my friends, or broadcast to any GoTenna in the area. GoTenna has great point-to-point communication range, but with this groundbreaking mesh networking technology, it's possible to double or triple your range by hopping through other GoTenna mesh units in the area. You don't even need to know the other users or do anything. It's automatic and private. So I'm able to receive a message from Ming, who's on top of a mountain, because our friends and other GoTenna mesh users act as relay voice between us. Imagine using this at a music festival or on the slopes. The possibilities are endless. Unlike traditional communication networks, GoToMesh actually gets stronger the more users join it. We call this people-powered connectivity. One more to go, please.
So is that not the coolest thing? I mean, really, how many of you guys have been someplace and you just have no connectivity whatsoever? I didn't even know they made those. I had no idea about that. And so you better believe I'm going to be checking in. After I get my 360 camera, which that's the first thing I'm going to get. The one I show you, or that, who is it, that Honda had at the beginning of the year. So we're going to be getting one of those for next year for our STEM program. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I'm way too big now. Let me make it smaller so everybody can see. All right, so if you haven't done your attendance, please make sure you go and mark that you were here. And I would think if you're here virtually, you're here. Wouldn't that be right? So if you're here virtually with us on Facebook, you need to go mark that you're present as long as you stay for the length of the meeting. Okay, so let's talk about, before we do anything else, our first meeting for next year. And that was just where it was on the agenda from last time. The first meeting, I'm assuming, would be 9/1, because that's the first Friday in November. In November. I don't want to go that far. In September, okay? But we need to figure out who's going to have it. Is there anyone who wants to host that meeting? Even virtually, you're welcome to go into this, and you can put your name, or somebody here can volunteer. Does anybody want to go ahead and host? That's the only one we do. Then we set the rest of them at the beginning of the meeting. St. Agnes? Okay. St. Agnes has it. If somebody could go in and change that. Okay. Awesome. All right, so we are going to do the first meeting, which is September 1st of next year at St. Agnes Academy in St. Dominic. Thank you guys for hosting that. Hopefully...
Somebody remind us.
We will. Jessica is the one who's going to be hopefully the president, like she's voted on today. And so she'll be the one who will remind you next year. But I'm also going to be the webmaster, so I'll be putting stuff on. And that's really why I did the other Facebook and social media stuff, because I'll just take care of all that next year. Okay, our dues. Now, I have not updated this. Let's see here. Let me go back to it real quick. Let me go to our MAIS TEC dues account, because it's actually been updated from what's in there. Let's see here. Yeah, we paid, just to let you know, for Innovate Ahead, let's see, we paid $250 for the pizza and then $95 for all the other stuff that we got. And I want to thank John for getting all of that stuff. And I want to thank especially PDS for hosting and for Cindy and Melissa for doing all that they did, because they did so much to help. We couldn't have done it without them. Okay, so that's it. So our new balance is $1,124.77. And we did just get a couple of dues from another couple of schools that we'll be adding in there as well. So that's a better late than never.
Our missing check from September.
That's okay. That's okay.
Not the only one.
Yeah, it's no big deal. We're just glad you paid. Okay, let's see here. So let's go ahead and go back. Are there any other reports financially that we need to talk about or anything?
Those were just the two, just the innovative ed. It's really the only expense that we've had since the last meeting. So.
And I do have some receipts to give you for the door prizes. Okay. I've got some door prizes here today. Okay, and by the way, here are our door prizes. Sorry, you have to be present to win, Facebook. Okay? So we've got, and you could be thinking about these as we go through. First of all, we've got just for today. I've got 2 selfie sticks. This selfie stick is just a regular selfie stick that you have to plug in. This is a wireless one that is Bluetooth. So once you set it, all you have to do is turn it on and automatically links with your camera, which is nice. Then we have another one of these, which I love these. These are my favorites. It's just some regular VR glasses. And we have a jump drive. And then for everybody, even if you've won before, I went ahead and got the upgraded, it's very similar to this, but this one, these VR glasses have a trigger They are wireless, so they're Bluetooth between your phone and here, so that you can adjust the sound and stuff up at the top. It's got a sound on the outside, so you don't have to go inside to do it. And it's got built-in headphones, which is nice. So this is one of the big ones. And then this is a completely waterproof, very nice stereo speaker, which is great for the outdoors. I mean, it can get, they say you can drop it into like water up to like 3 or 4 feet and it'll be perfectly fine. So it is pretty good. So anyway, those are our 2 big prizes, and those are the ones for everybody who's here today. And it looks like you have a very good chance of winning. Okay, let's see here. So let's go talk about our conferences and workshops. Is anybody going to ISTE? I wish I could go to ISTE. But I'm going to be in Ecuador during ISTE. I'm going on a mission trip to Ecuador. So I'm excited about that. Let's see here. So that's in San Antonio this year. And did anyone ever get the extra room that CBHS had available?
I don't know, I think Melissa was commenting on it, I don't know.
Wanda was looking for one too, but she wanted it at a certain hotel, so.
Yeah, see, I know, I've been looking for, I'm holding out for a certain hotel too. I have something booked, but
Well,
we'll wait until closer to time and check. But
if you're still looking for one, I don't know if Patty still has that one available.
do you know where it was?
She never said, I mean, or
Yeah.
she may have responded directly to Melissa, but
Yeah,
I don't
Okay, so
know.
you might want to check with her if you're still needing someplace to stay. Then there's the One-to-One Next conference, which is what used to be the Lausanne Laptop Conference, or Lausanne Learning Institute. It's now called the One-to-One Next. Is somebody going to that this summer? Okay, I always have something going on that week these days, so I can't usually go, but it's always a good one here in town that people can go to. Let's see, are there any others that you guys know of or that anybody's going to this summer?
That TITA Summer Institute, it's
Okay.
in Kodak, Tennessee, which is
Did I
Gatlinburg,
delete that?
Sevierville.
Was it
It
on here?
had
I
been
must
up
have
there
deleted
before,
it.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. we should
I'll add
put
it back,
back.
yeah. That's in July. I'll look the dates. It's like the second week of July.
How far is that? That's
It's in Gatlinburg, Sevierville
that's
area.
like
It's the
6
20th anniversary this summer, so,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh, that's great.
yeah. The TITA Summer Institute.
Okay.
It's TITA.org. Let me look it up let me look it up real quick. Yeah, and that way you can put the link. You can just put the link there to it too.
Anything else? Anybody's going to anything else? Everyone's been so busy.
I'll put a plug in. I mean, Atlas
Yeah.
just happened just now
Yeah.
about there.
Right.
And I also just finished, Atlas now has a year-long program, so if you all have any young tech directors or aspiring tech directors in your schools, they have a one-year program called the Early Career and Aspiring Tech Directors Institute. And I just finished that. It's a one-year thing, and I can't recommend it highly enough. It is really fantastic. You study with people like Connie White and Kurt Leineck, who've been tech directors at huge schools, covering really big challenges and issues in technology.
Okay, that's great.
So great resources,
Okay.
and it's through Atlas. So
Yeah, just keep us updated next year on when that's supposed to happen. Do you have the dates for next year yet? Have they
So
announced
it'll
them?
be April, it's in DC this next year.
yep, it'll be easy for us to go
Okay.
next year.
Yeah,
I think it's like April 15th or 16th.
let me look it up.
Okay,
Um,
well, that's
And-
great.
This year's ECAD cohort has already been formed, but if someone wanted to start, I think they apply in February next year.
Oh,
So-
okay.
But I'll keep y'all updated.
Okay, yeah, please do, because I'll bet you there'll be some people who'd love to go to that. Okay, anything else? Nothing else? Okay, let's see here. The first thing we need to do for open discussion is to approve the March minutes. Do I have somebody who wants to move that we approve those?
I'll move the-
Got one move? Who wants a
Yes,
second? We
I'll
got a
second.
second. Very good. So the March minutes are approved. Let's see here. The new MAIS TEC Facebook page. Please go like us. All right. So if you go, this is what it looks like so far. I mean, I haven't done much of anything other than I put up our meeting for today. And what I would love to do, before we leave today, I would love to get a picture of at least those who are here, just a little group picture that we can put up here.
Right.
And if somebody during our meeting today, like even right now, can get up and just take a couple of pictures, just so we can get a couple of pictures that are on there for people to see. And anybody can post to this. So if you've got something that's good for people, that might be good for them, it's instructional technology, go throw it on our page or put it on our Instagram. I'm going to try to go ahead and connect both Instagram and our Facebook together so that stuff will appear on both. If it's all approved today, I'll be the one who's in charge of all this stuff next year as the web person. But we're using the exact same email address that we use for everything else, as well as the same password. I did not use my I had to use a personal one because you have to have a personal one in order to set up a group one. But I already set up Jessica Lancaster as the person on this, the co-administrator. So whoever the web person is will always be the person who's really in charge of it, then the president will be the second in charge. If that's good for everybody. Does everyone think I thought that was a pretty good idea just to get us going for this year. All right, so you can tell people about that and use it as a resource and throw stuff up there. I think it'll be great for us to be able to really connect with each other that way. Let's see here. Then we also have Twitter and Instagram. Everything is at Memphis MAIS TEC. MAIS TEC was already taken, and you can't do a hyphen in any of these. They won't let you do characters. So it's just Memphis MAIS TEC, no spaces, and it doesn't matter if it's lower or uppercase. One of them is uppercase, the rest of them are lower, but it doesn't make any difference. Okay, if you have not done so, click on the vote button right now, and then you're going to go to where you can vote. You have to put your name, and you have to put your school. So those of you, if you're watching, go ahead and go do yours as well. Then you can agree or not agree, and if you don't agree, you're welcome to write in. Or even if you agree, you're welcome to write in. And then you're just going to hit the submit button. All right. Then we are going to go and take a look at how it is going. Let me go to my drive. And we are vendor. I guess it's this untitled form, is it? I thought I titled it. There it is right there. Okay, so we've got 14 responses so far. Let's take a look. Let's create a new spreadsheet. All right, and I do see some people who have voted from home. I'm so happy. Yay, our first live stream, and it's going well. Awesome. Okay, and it looks like everyone is voting yes, so I think it's going to be an approval. Does someone move that we go ahead and approve? Okay, second. Okay, so we are moving that this is agreed upon by everyone. So we have our new officers. Jessica wasn't able to be here today. She's actually on a plane to New York right now. She was leaving first thing this morning, so she emailed me and said, of all days, there's nothing she could do about it, and she was leaving today. So, but she will be the new president for next year, and John Semming is going to be our vice president. Let's see here. Where are we? Let's go back to questions. And then our secretary is Sarah Casey. She agreed to do that again. And yeah, she did a fabulous job. And Lena Collins always does a good job from Sacred Heart. And then we added this new one this year, which is the website director. And I'm going to take care of that on all of the different websites and everything, especially our main site. So, all right, awesome. Thank you for doing that. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go back. I can go back to the right page. There it is. Okay, innovated. Let's see here. There's a couple of people here that were, who all was on that committee? Maybe I think we're the only two who are here that were on the committee. It went really well. How many did we end up having?
100-ish.
Yeah, about 100 people or so. And we even, I don't know if we've gotten the videos up yet. I know some of our teachers have already gone back and watched some of last year's video to get some of their PD for the year. But hopefully we'll get those videos up sometime soon so that people can watch that. Thank you, everybody. Who here presented? Got a couple people who presented. Thank you so much. And those of you from home, if you presented, thank you, or at your school, thank you so very, very much. Next year, in fact, we need to go ahead and be thinking about this. What do you guys think about moving it to Briarcrest next year? I've already asked our people, and they've agreed that if we wanted to move it there, we could. One of the issues that we have from people that we get every single year is most of the people coming here from the outlying areas. And trying to get to PDS from their school is just so difficult. That I don't know if maybe we would get more participation if we moved it out a little bit further. But I don't think it's a bad idea to spread the wealth anyway. And PDS has always hosted it, and they've always been so kind. But Briarcrest has agreed to do it next year if you want us to do that. So what do you guys think?
Which campus?
The Houston Levy campus. Yeah.
I think it's time that we moved it from PDS just because they've had it for 7 years and they've done a great job and they've just done it but it's time we take that off of them and
we need to try to give Cindy
else.
a break, maybe her be on it, but she and Melissa do so much every year.
They plan the whole thing basically.
It's a huge undertaking. It's not a little thing.
Maybe a change would bring more people.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think just moving it to different areas of the city, I think we'll get different people if we moved it, from year to year, or keep it the same place for a few years and move it someplace else. I just don't think that's a bad idea. And maybe even we can get the Shelby County schools involved, and maybe even they'd be willing to host it a year or something like that. So, I don't know.
Or even the Germantown and Collierville schools, particularly if it's out in Briarcrest.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Whenever I said Shelby County, I'm so used to them all being together. I still say Memphis City,
As you should.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. So we've agreed to host it for next year, if PDS is good with that. Let's see here. End of the year social. We haven't really talked about doing one. Do you guys want to do end of the year social this year? Just kind of meet together after school one day or in the evening one day, or do you just want to say, no, let's just take this year off? What do you guys think? Yeah, everybody's swamped. I think if we're going to do a social, it needs to be at a time of the year when people aren't so busy. It doesn't have to be at the end of the year.
It doesn't have to giving maybe.
It may,
Yeah.
Well, not real beginning.
Why don't we put that on the agenda and put one and talk about doing it at the start of next year?
I think that's a great suggestion of maybe a holiday party in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, either.
Because we normally don't have a December meeting anyway.
Right.
So that would, we could put in place of that.
Very beginning of December.
Yeah. See, the thing is, December's so busy for me. I don't even know if I can make it in December.
Yeah, December and May are just awful.
We could do it in January when we
I was
come
going
back.
to say.
That'd be January would probably be a great idea. Yeah. So everybody be thinking about that, and we'll talk about that during our first meeting whenever we come back at the beginning of the school year. I think that's a great idea. I love getting together, but this probably just not a good time at all. Okay, very good. Now, field trip. John, have you been able to check into the Delta school?
I didn't know I was supposed to check the Delta school.
That's good.
I was checking the FedEx thing.
Oh, that's right. I was supposed to check into the Delta school. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I haven't done that yet.
I've been to the Delta school. It's impressive.
Yeah, I would love to go. How far is it from here? How long is it?
This article today said 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay.
From Memphis now, that's probably
Yeah.
So that
bridge.
wouldn't be bad.
They had a big opening for their makerspace,
Yeah.
which is larger than anything else in the entire school, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's not true. Their greenhouse is a little bit larger than the makerspace, but that's it. And it's incredible. Like if you.
Are you still talking about Delta School?
Yeah.
We know anything about the new Crosstown?
No.
It'll be 18 before it opens, though, right? I didn't go. I was not at the keynote. No.
At the keynote, I can't remember her name, so I can't remember her names, but the girl that has been instrumental in getting off the ground came and talked about Crosstown High, which sounds just amazing.
So what is it about? I don't know anything about it. I never
Crosstown development that they're doing over on.
The old Sears building.
Yeah.
Oh,
on
Yes,
Cleveland.
I have
Cleveland
heard
and
about
Brooklyn.
that, yes.
So it's like they're rethinking high school altogether, and they're gonna, these children are gonna learn in like cohorts instead of traditional classrooms.
Wow.
You
So is
can
it
go
like a
online and
charter
read-
school?
It's a charter school.
Okay.
You can go online and read all about it, but it sounds like it's gonna be pretty phenomenal.
Somebody write that in there so that maybe we could go there, like after they get started, just
And
think
might
about it
be
for the
interesting to
future.
have her come present, just tell us about it. Some of the stuff they're doing.
Oh, yeah, I would love to hear about it. So put it in there, I wanna check it out.
I'll link it to you so y'all can look at it.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be great.
But it's a whole nother school year before they open.
Okay.
I mean, it's 18, 19 before they open.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear more about that one. Okay, any other field trip ideas? I really think that Delta School is where we probably just need to go for one of our meetings and maybe even go out to eat and have the meeting at a restaurant or something like that.
What's that there's a restaurant over there that everybody goes to.
Oh, just a minute, I'll tell you.
Wilson,
this is on the-
Arkansas.
Yeah, there's a famous restaurant there in the town.
Okay.
Hmm.
And if we
Another
can,
thought too is, thinking about that whole crosstown concourse, Tech 901, they're over there too, so that
Mhm.
might be something interesting to.
Oh,
just kinda
okay.
go through there. I think there's a lot of technology components.
over that, in that area, okay.
Might be interesting
Okay.
to see.
Well, I'll definitely check out Delta School and see if they would be willing to
Sorry,
us over on.
speaking of the Tech 901, did anything ever come of the, I know there was a meeting about computer science curriculum and stuff like that, was that like, was there anything that came of that? Or was it just that meeting and then it just kind of?
No, they created some Google groups. There hasn't been a lot of activity in them to my knowledge, but that was in the very early stages of Tech 901. They've completely just gone crazy with their initiative and have classes going almost year round now, offering certificate programs in I don't know how many different languages now. But they're doing job placement. They're rocking. They've got, I mean, if you go to their website now, you can see all their
I linked it on
developments.
Okay, good.
I mean, I don't know how much of a need they have for us now, except to just promote their stuff. So sign up, if you haven't done it, sign up to get their newsletter and their blog stuff, because they do have summer programs that they're pushing out that are for, I think, beginning and even ninth grade. Really cool opportunities, and most of it is either free or very low cost.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so that's for next year. All right, anything else official before we go to any other business? And those of you who are at your schools or wherever, feel free to add some questions under other business if you want us to talk about something. So just add it down there and somebody be watching and we'll talk about that stuff as well. Okay, other business. Does anybody have any? First of all, I want to talk about professional development. What are you guys doing for professional development, just across the board for your teachers right now? What do you expect of them, and what are you doing for them?
I'll speak for us, and that this is something that has been a constant challenge in terms of who's going to push people to do it other than us. We're always offering things, sending stuff out.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that ever go.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the thing, we know it all and we're telling you about it, but they're not taking matters into their own hands. We don't have any requirements from the top down. We used to, but it was always a matter of people like last minute were like, oh, well, I went to that after school meeting, does that count? And it was totally taken away from the purpose of what is true professional development.
Right.
I mean, I'd love some.
I mean, I offer stuff and, yeah, you spend all that time planning and there's one or two people, maybe.
There's got to be something
Come.
that teachers will do. The problem is everybody's so busy and they're so
But Lynn, I mean, I get that, and everybody says that, but everybody's always busy.
They are.
I mean, I've been in this business for 32 years, and I don't ever remember a time I wasn't busy. But I always go to stuff. I mean, I'll go to meetings. I go to stuff after school. It's a matter of, do you want to do it or you not want to do it? And I think in the end, unless someone's forced to do it, if they don't really have the desire, they're not going to do it. I mean,
If they're forced to do it though, they're not going to use it.
Yeah, our teachers are required to get 6 hours. 3 of those have to be technology. The other 3 can be technology, or they could be
That's
something
good.
else. And that is the reason I get so many. And most of our teachers come during the summer. Like I did 18 workshops last summer, and almost all of them had lots of people in them.
That's insane.
That's amazing.
Because our teachers have to get their hours.
Every summer too, it's like the same 4 or 5 people, and you might get one person that asked you about it, she threw that topic out there, and that one person comes. We were just talking about what sessions we were going to do this summer, and we were laughing because we'll probably have 2 people at each one.
Well, it's because
it's exactly what it
we've
is.
also we're using Teach Point this year, which has been so successful because it keeps up with all their PD forum. They can go and print out their own transcript. They can print out their own certificates. They can do everything. We imported everything since 2008. No, since 2005. That in our system, so that they can have everything in there with them, and they can put it in their portfolio, do everything they need to. And then the principals now can go run their own reports and see who's in a deficit, who doesn't have their hours, who does have their hours.
What happens if you don't have your hours, or
the principal gets on you. Because our principals are very, very good. They support me 100%, but I have to make sure they have the information they need in order to go to the principal, to go to the students.
So you don't have it as any part of your evaluation or anything like that?
It has been, but there was no follow-up, or there was nobody from the top down that was saying, other than us, but I mean, I have very little authority on campus.
Right, yeah.
And, I mean, me saying, yeah, well, you didn't get your hours.
Right.
Okay.
It's got to come yeah, if it doesn't come from somebody higher up that's over that person, it's kind of useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of feel like, as the technology integrationist, we don't want to make enemies of our classroom teachers
Exactly.
by knocking them out to the administration.
Right.
Because
Right.
I want to work collaboratively with them. So
Yeah.
it's really just how do we get them to see the value, and that whole conference that we just went to was about how these are no longer, we need to innovate. It's not just about the tools anymore. It's about
Right.
innovating, and
Right.
how do we change our mindset on that and get
So
them.
when this is not at Bodine. At Bodine, we do lots of PD, but it's also focused. It's all focused on dyslexia, right? So we don't really have room for any tech PD or anything else. But at my previous school, we got 3 different large independent schools together. We ran something over a week in the summer called SAIL, Summer Academy of Innovative Learning, which is a little bit like Innovate Ed, except that it's a morning session and an afternoon session, usually 2 or 3 morning and 2 or 3 afternoon sessions over a week in the summer. And it was right after school got out for all 3 schools. And it was wildly successful. We got...
Required?
It was not required, but some schools, we would pay teachers to present. Like if they're doing something innovative, they'd get $100 to show that, to do a session on that. We would, if you were a teacher and you attended, we'd buy you lunch and provide childcare. So it was right after school ended. It was a time that teachers had available, and we had 480-ish people between presenters and attendees over the course of. Now this is 3 very large schools, but because we ran into the same problems. Teachers didn't want to take 4 days and fly somewhere. They have families, but if you could work it into their the life that works for them, a lot of them were interested, but we didn't have requirements either.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what can really help our teachers. What can we do? Because things are changing. I mean, everything's changing, and people just don't want to go to stuff after school. I only did workshops after school this month, or the month of April and the very first week of May, for those who hadn't gotten their hours, basically is what I did. Because nobody wants to come during the year. Last year I had to cancel almost all the ones I had during the school year because nobody even came. And again, like you said, you prepare for it, then nobody shows up, and it's so frustrating.
This year, I tried something different. I mean, everybody pretty much has an off period at some point during the day. We have a rotating schedule. So I even planned workshops where I did them on like a Monday and a Tuesday, because Monday we have periods 1 through 6, and Tuesday morning we have period 7. So Monday and Tuesday morning, all the periods would have met. And I did that several times in the spring, earlier in the spring. And I mean, I'd get maybe one period and another period. And for that whole workshop, over 7 periods, maybe 3 or 4 people total. So I even did it during the day, during their work time. They didn't have to come after school.
Well, see, ours when it comes in summer.
Right.
I don't have time, I can't.
Right.
Yeah, our teachers are like, during the year, forget it, during the school day, forget it, unless I need something specific and I say, please come work with me, they just don't know, they just don't have time, and I mean, I understand that they're completely
I put
busy.
some brown bag lunch sections where they can, we can either provide lunch or bring their lunch and just do a quick 30-minute. I don't remember why the deans didn't go for it, but they didn't, but I thought that would be a great, especially if we provide lunch, they'll come and bring food.
We get a parent volunteer to sit in a lunch period.
Well, one thing that is really successful for us in the summer is I do a whatever Wednesday or whatever Tuesday or whatever Monday, whatever. And I'm there from 8 o'clock in the morning until 12, and they can come and I'll help them with whatever they want. And they get their tech credit. They can get up to 3 hours credit just for coming to one of those, but they have to come and work with me on something. And sometimes I'll have 25 people in a room, and I'm just running from person to person because they know it's a time. Maybe they just want to work and update their webpage for the year. You know, so in fact, I don't even offer them until a few weeks before school starts, so that they can come and get one-to-one help when they need it, but they can sit there and work for a bit, and then they just let me know that they're ready. And when I can have time to get to them, I get back to them and say, okay, what do I need to help you with? They love that. Our teachers, almost all of our teachers get about 3 of their hours with that every year, and it's very successful.
I wonder if part of the reason, why we have more issues is that, y'all are fresh on the one-to-one, so there's probably a lot of excitement and fear that's driving your PD, whereas our teachers are like, all right, well, we've had these same devices. I think there's a lot of complacency that we're dealing with.
I think it also goes to the accountability.
I think the accountability is the reason. I think almost 100% of it is accountability.
Yeah, well,
they wouldn't come if they didn't have to get those 6 hours.
So years ago, we did that. Back in the county, they had to get X number of hours in tech. We had a way to check on the hours and all that stuff, and we had people there. Now, we also would do incentives occasionally, and we would have door prizes and give big things away, like big digital cameras and stuff. And we had really good attendance, but then when we stopped all that, and they took the tech requirement away, our attendance dropped.
Right. And I do always give out a door prize that is a gift card to some restaurant. Always.
I would definitely attend the door prize.
Yeah. I'm telling you. And so, in fact, I've got a hoard of door prizes that I give out. Yeah. It's crazy. But, I mean, because teachers like it. Yeah.
Because I think it's all so interesting, and there's so much cool stuff that we can do, and it's sad to me that we have to bribe them to come and do what they should be excited about doing anyway. I mean, I know they're busy, I know they're tired, we all are.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I guess if you're not willing to continue to grow and learn, then maybe it's time to.
Well, I had considered doing something online. That's okay.
I agree. We just had this conversation. You say that because I'm old. If you don't want to change, then you need to move on.
You know, the other thing that we did that was pretty successful was something that's tied to a certification. Like we did, I had 17 teachers do a year-long, it wasn't a year, it was like 7 months, boot camp for Google Educator certification. And I thought I was going to get 3 or 4 people. 17 showed up.
Wow.
But I mean, it wasn't because they were necessarily interested in diving that deeply into Google. They wanted the stamp for their resume saying, yep, I'm a certified Google educator.
Well, here's another issue, which I don't know if you know this. The very first workshop I am offering this summer to our teachers is on the new teacher licensing. I don't know if you know, but it is completely changed. Do not let it lapse, because otherwise you have to retake the praxis, which could be up to $500 or $600.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and if you feel, I know that at a private school you don't have to be certified, okay, or licensed. But if you wanted to go to a school that did require it and you had let it lapse, you would have to go through a lot. And I know a couple of people who have been out of the class or have been out of school for 20 years. They took it and they failed it.
Wow.
And they needed a job with the public school system and couldn't get it at that point because they had let their license lapse. So you need to check it out, and it doesn't matter if you have a doctorate or a master's or an undergrad. Everybody has to get 60 hours of PD every 6 years now if you want you to renew your license. And they do everything through a portal, and you have to upload every individual piece of PD, and you have to have a certificate for every single PD, and it has to have 3 specific items on it. If it doesn't have those items, and it's not from the place who offered it, they will reject it.
Wow.
And so they are very, very specific. It's even changed in the past 3 months from the rules that were 3 months ago. So, because they're trying to get this online portal going. So, really check that out and make your teachers go and look to see if their license has expired. Because we have like 10 of them who expired this year, and it's always in August that they expire. That's okay, and we're glad you could come. And so a lot of our teachers, 5 of those teachers didn't even know theirs was expiring. And if we had not told them that theirs was expiring, that it would have lapsed, and they would have had to take the praxis. So please, that is free. All you do is go to Tennessee Teacher License Lookup. And you can look for anybody. I mean, because it's public knowledge. Since it's a public license, you can look for anybody. So please make sure that you check that out with your teachers. And that is the reason I bring that up. That is one reason why teachers need to go to PD, because you have to have a certificate for it. And I give a certificate for everything. And I learned also with teacher license, it can't just say in service, it has to list the exact activity. But as a private school, we can use in service for recertification. And your hours have to be from whenever your last license was issued. And they don't do 10-year licenses anymore, they're all 6. So, okay, let's see here. So we were just talking about professional development. And what do you guys do for professional development?
And how do you get people to come to workshops?
How do you get people to go?
Well, the division heads send them to what they want them to go to.
Okay, so it comes from the top down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we don't offer, Jennifer and I don't offer stuff. We just work one-on-one.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do both. I work one-on-one and I do them.
But did you used to? And if you did, why did you stop? That's the discussion.
They don't come.
Exactly.
I mean,
I wanted to hear her say that.
I know. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's when it applies to them. It's as needed.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Can you usurp a staff meeting every once in a while and just, force PD type of thing?
We do that. I do that.
I do that.
Yeah, that's easy. I mean, those little snippets.
And sometimes they'll be like, oh, can you come in? And the topic that they'll ask us to present on is something that. Yeah.
Oh, but you don't get to choose what it is.
There might be one teacher that had a question about it, but now we're teaching something that everybody really knows how to do, and that's the.
Yeah. Well, our teachers, since we just started one-to-one and we just moved to Max this year, we're still working on a lot of the basics.
Yeah. That's us too. We've done
That's
it.
another reason.
We're still very new at it, and we do, once a month have tech meeting. For our faculty meeting, our early out Tuesday. We get out at 2.
Your whole faculty meeting is that?
Yes. We get out at 2 once a month on a Tuesday, and that's Tech Tuesday.
Nice.
Wow.
Cool.
That's great.
We get out at 2 every Wednesday.
For tech, for faculty meetings? Every
Wednesday?
Every Wednesday.
Yes, we do.
Every Wednesday.
One for the month.
Ooh.
And you have something every single.
They've been doing this for 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But usually division heads want that time.
Well, and I will say our high school teachers usually go to something
Department
else.
Meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying they'll go to the national teacher, blah, blah, blah.
English teacher or something.
Yeah.
Mathematics.
It's really my elementary and middle school teachers that really, and some of our maybe language teachers or something like that don't really have as much stuff to go to elsewhere. That
language stuff, there's that whatever the foreign language thing.
Yeah.
folks like to
Yeah,
go to.
Latin just is not.
Well, there's, yeah.
Yeah, Latin is very difficult, so he usually comes to my stuff. But it's mainly the elementary and middle as well.
Jane posted,
Okay.
teachers have a log sheet that they fill out and turn in at the end of the year.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's why we started using Teach Point this year, and it has been fabulous.
But you know, there has to be accountability for that too.
Right.
So what happens if they don't?
Well, see, and it's part of our portfolio. They have to print out their PD log and put it inside their
See, we have the
portfolio.
issue in Mississippi that's different because our licenses are different. That, like, if they come to a after-school professional development, that doesn't count towards their CEUs. They actually have to go to a class and get a CEU from a,
University or
approved
something.
university, and then they have to pay for it, or through like you can get a frequency.
Lots of states are that
And so in
way.
terms of Shelby County, DeSoto County Schools offers a ton of CEUs, but they're all like after school, and they've changed their program, where it used to be like you would go for 4 days from like 4 o'clock to 7. Well, now they've changed it. You go for 2 days from like 4 o'clock to 9.
Ooh,
Well,
wow.
after you've worked all day long, and if you have the kids, or if your kids have activities, or if you have responsibilities after work, it's hard to get those, CEUs and stuff. So I end up doing my CEUs through online courses, just because of time factors. But that, I think, keeps some where it's not, because that's not gonna count. Like, I've sent out stuff that maybe MAIS TEC's doing, and the first response back I get from a teacher is, will I get a CEU for this? And I said, no, but you will get the professional development, you'll get this. And they're like, well, then I can't do it. If it's not gonna benefit me to help my license, then I'm not going to do this. And so, we've done a couple like full faculty meeting where it's like, we've done stuff, and it hasn't necessarily pertained to every teacher, but they've all had to sit in there.
Right.
Well, then you get that negativity of, why am I here? This doesn't pertain to me.
Yeah, especially secondary. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you get that. Okay, let's see here. This is from Melissa Smith. It says, in my role and Cindy's, I work with a teacher when they need it, and then to bring them the latest ideas. They do attend or read for PD regarding teaching pedagogy, so I don't know if they aren't a tech-interested teacher. They might be driven to go to...
They're not one. They might not be.
They won't be driven to go to a workshop.
Not be that kind of workshop.
But I'm bringing back.
The scheduled weekly
That's
meetings.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we used to do those, and then.
See,
we
that's where I got Tech
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays is from them, or Tech whatever, because they used to do those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the Tech Tuesday that's right under there, was that not Tech Tuesday or somebody else's?
That was
mine. So we can go ahead and
a
add
lens.
on that that's a weekly.
What about their grade level? Jennifer goes to grade level meeting. Because they meet lower school, they
Now,
meet.
that's what I do.
And that's what she does.
When,
To
just
sell
to
innovation.
help integrate.
Yeah,
But
see,
it's
I
not
used
really
to go to them, but it's really, our
Middle
librarian
and upper
and
are
our tech
harder.
coach really do that more now.
See, and that's where we're at a disadvantage, that our tech guys are 30 minutes away in Waltz. And I'm the only tech person on campus, and I teach a full schedule every single day.
Yeah.
I have one planning period a day, just like every other teacher in the school. So in terms of trying to even find time to work, if they ask me something, I'm constantly, if I come across something, I send it out. But there's not necessarily even time in my schedule to be able to accommodate the teachers.
Yeah, and I have kept away from sending out too many emails to our
Yes, I
teachers.
do too.
Because
I do too.
they don't, even if I send a quick little, check this out. Because they don't
You
even
gotta
read
have
the
it
emails
set
I
up,
send out.
ready for them to go, and then they'll try. If you're
Right.
ready, and it's like, oh, I did this, and I've entered your class, why don't you try it?
Exactly.
That's what we have to do. I have, they do find a lot on their own, but then if I just shoot them some stuff to use, that's how we sort of go. And I listen to them.
Our best thing these days I've found is I get a couple people excited about it, and then it just kind of goes like this.
Grassroots.
Yes. Rather than me spreading it, they're spreading it amongst themselves. And that seems to work better with PD just about than anything else.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But the good thing about for our teachers, like they're able to post for their part of their PD is their planning periods. They meet after school, things like that. We let them do, because that is professional development for them. They're sharing with what they're doing in their classrooms and all of that. So we do give them credit for that type of stuff for their PD as well. So, which I think is great. They have to have 6 hours total. But 3 of those have to be in technology. So most of our elementary and middle school teachers actually come to something I'll offer during the summer. And I'm not the only person that offers. I just did the proposals week before last and asked people to send me proposals, and then I'll come up with my list, and we'll probably have a good 18. But I mean, that includes CPR certification.
Yeah.
I mean, that's everything we offer throughout the whole summer, and we always offer quite a bit. So, okay, let's see here. Any other questions? A good conversation about PD. If anybody comes up with something really good, make sure that you share it with the group. Something that works for you. Okay, let's see. What other topics do you guys have?
Just very quickly, I am leaving my post at Bodine. I'm going to be working with Whitney at Hutchinson next year.
Okay.
So if any of you know tech directors, technology people who are looking for a tech director job, it's tech director and iLab, which is, basically a makerspace. So it's a great place, good people, and but I think my head is hoping to hire someone fairly soon. So if you know anyone, please ask them to shoot a resume over.
And yay for us.
Okay, hopefully everybody else behind you heard that.
Love all the
somebody
Saunders family.
who would like to be the tech director of Bodine, shoot them an email. Okay. All right, any other topics, pertinent topics, questions you've had, new things that you've discovered? We're still really into Nearpod. We ended up getting, our teachers like Nearpod so much, we got a site license. So now every single teacher can use it.
I've looked at it, but what is it again?
Okay, basically what it is it's not just a PowerPoint, but you are basically running like a PowerPoint, but it's through Nearpod. Your students go to Nearpod and put in this code that you will have given them, and they are following along with you. If you're on a page, they're on the same page. When you move to the next page, it moves their computer to the next page also. And that way the students aren't behind you, they're not ahead of you, they are right there with you at all times. And it's completely interactive. You can do anything and everything. In fact, they sent us 5 VR headsets. And so you can do virtual reality with it where your students have the glasses on and you're actually controlling them moving from page to page. So they can't just sit there and keep looking while you've moved on. No, you hit the button and it moves them to the next VR thing as well, which is really, really nice. But they've got polls, you can do quizzes, you can do... The purpose of it is really so that you can get instant feedback from these kids to see if they know it. And like one of our chemistry teachers at the high school, she's been the biggest promoter of it. In fact, that's how she got all of her PD last year, is watching all the webinars from Nearpod. Then she came and she offered PD to the teachers throughout the year on what she had learned. And she'll have something with, I don't even know, like a cell, wouldn't even be a cell, but something on the screen and tells the students, okay, now it's your turn, you go show me how this works, and they have to actually draw on the screen how it works. She gets them all on her machine, and she can see them as they're doing them or as they submit them, and she can say, ooh, this is a great one. She clicks on it, and it goes on every student's machine. So they all see that exact same thing, and she can say, okay, look at this. This is exactly what I'm looking for. See how they did this, that, or the other. Or she can do one that says, okay, this is completely wrong. This is not what you're supposed to do. And you can keep the students' names off of it so nobody knows who's or anything like that. Or you can put their names on there if you want to. It is a wonderful, wonderful resource. But it's not cheap at all, I will say. I mean, but our teachers have loved it so much.
How much is your site license, can I ask?
A typical site license is like $7,500.
Wow.
But we called them and just worked deals with them, and
Yeah.
they ended up working with us.
A lot
to
of times
get
if
it
you're
for
all on
cheap.
one campus, that sometimes will be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
We used a competitor to Nearpod called Pear Deck, which is
Uh-huh.
also a fantastic product.
Yeah, that's a good
It's
one
a
as
little
well.
cheaper. But the exciting thing is, you know, we have classes, if you have a class of 20 kids or more, you know, there are always 3 or 4 kids who try very hard to fly under the radar and
Right.
not raise their hand and not, or maybe they're just introverts and they want to participate, but, you know, doing it in a public way is difficult. So
That's good.
those tools give you a chance to get them, to require them
Yes.
to weigh in some way that is comfortable, and so it sort of draws them out a little bit. So I love those tools.
Yeah, those are wonderful.
Is
But
anybody using, Apple Classroom?
we've got one of our teachers, no, we're not using that. He's using Google Classroom. I take that back. No, we don't have
Curious if
anybody
anybody
using
was using that for management. We're
Are you using it?
Kicking it
not
around.
yet, we're strongly considering it, but I think we're gonna wait until we refresh, which is the next year.
Looks amazing, like, yeah, however, it doesn't work on any device you currently have.
Welcome to
So
Apple.
we'll do a refresh for, it's, you know, the newest operating system,
So I just went to a session on this at Atlas, which was a fantastic session, and they said 2 important things, maybe 3. One, it's not its own MDM. You really need to work with another MDM that integrates. Secondly, the devices are hard to get in unless you've just purchased them from Apple, right? And specifically, they have to be of a certain age, right? You can't put an iPad 2 in there, basically. And if it was a device that was sold to a school in the last few years, you can get it in. It just takes a little more doing.
Well, the newest update, because the Apple guys were just
Yeah.
at announced last week, and they now, when you go into your settings on your iPad, now there's actually an Apple Classroom function there, and you don't have to be in your India, you can automatically add
you can capture
whoever's
it
in
in
your
your
classroom.
Can you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's changed the game, I think.
That's
Oh, that's
a-
great.
that's a big game changer.
It's one concept.
Yeah.
Everybody has a phone now.
Right.
I'm trying to think about, like, how are we really, like, the no cell phone policy is just almost impossible to manage. So we want to be able to use them, but to be able to use them, we'd have to capture them and actually
Right.
manage them.
Yeah.
That's what we were really looking at that. Just was curious if anybody had any experience. I'm more than likely we're going to wait until our refresh year.
So
My
you
other
have your-
question for the group, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Has to do with science curriculums. So we're losing our amazing lower school science teacher this year, and have decided to completely revamp how we look at and do science in our curriculum. Probably have not given us enough time to do this, because we're trying to obviously put something together for fall. But what do you have a set, like, book or curriculum that you're using in lower school right now, or is it more of an integrated piece in conjunction with your STEM initiatives, et cetera?
Engineering is elementary, is the curriculum we want.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the ones we've been looking at.
It's great.
Somebody type that in.
It's from the Boston Children's Museum or something like that.
Yeah, and y'all use it and you love it. Is science a standalone
Yes.
topic?
Well, actually, the teacher goes to class with them. It's integrated with the teacher, but they go to science lab,
They do.
K to 4.
Okay.
We use Project Lead the Way just for our STEM program, and it's wonderful.
See, we've been using that. We're cutting it this
Yeah.
year.
Look at that.
I don't know.
So what is it about it that you guys didn't like?
The rigor, it's too slow paced for a lot of our teachers and students, mainly in the upper grades. We've only used it in like a couple of the lower grades, and it just didn't really catch on. We only had one teacher who was certified to do it. It just didn't catch on with the lower grades. We've offered the program in our upper school for several years. The 4-year programs, and I don't know, 3 or 4 different tracks.
They're gonna keep doing that. Oh, they're not gonna do that either.
They felt like the students, they got a lot of negative reviews, and it's so hard to keep your teachers trained and updated. We just weren't getting the benefit out of it that we felt like we should. So I don't know if
this year's the end year, or next year will be based on what we've already.
Yeah, I think the
signed on
contracts
to.
were already due, so they may have already signed
Yeah,
the
but we're,
contract. I see. Not
With this, you just buy the stuff, it's no
Right.
contract
right,
based.
just materials,
Mhm.
yeah.
And-
Other program we were looking and pretty impressed with was, one, by HMH called, I just gotta look it up again, 'cause I just blanked on it.
Parkour?
Divisions, oh my gosh. Dimensions. Anyone heard of Dimensions? It's an inquiry-based program, and all the units are based on a real-life phenomenon, and then you explore
That's
from
cool.
there.
Nice.
Pretty cool, but I just was curious what other people were doing, how theirs were structured. That's good, but, yeah, we love that engineering is elementary. Really, really like that program.
And then they,
I grew up novel engineering too, that's really cool, it's a way to integrate engineering with their knowledge.
Is there somebody in here, this is off topic, that can go to some type of an online tool and type everybody's name in so we can do that?
the
with
chicks,
multiple
fruit
places?
salad or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome. And if you don't know everybody's name, just get up and ask.
I posted a couple of pictures on the Facebook page, but they're
Oh,
coming
okay.
in as visitor, so they don't just come up
Yeah.
on the regular.
Okay,
It's
okay,
visitor
I'll probably
posts.
have to change, again, I did all that in the middle of the night, so I'll probably have to go change
It
the
comes
settings.
in over on the side, you can't see them, you have to actually
Okay,
click on it.
okay. I'll go see if I can make those changes, thank you. And thank you for taking the pictures. And we're gonna try to get a group picture before we leave today, by the way. So,
We've had 1 to 3 people, by the way, almost the entire time.
okay,
That's
all
awesome.
right.
In the meeting.
Well, that's awesome, that's awesome. I did have another question. What about, does anybody here use OneNote?
Very sporadic.
A little bit?
Well, we're just switching to Office 365 now. I mean, like literally,
Okay.
the faculty we just finished converting them, and we're going to start converting the boys next week. So
Okay.
I would imagine that next year, we may look at possibly doing some stuff with OneNote, but it wouldn't be before next year.
Well, how do you teach your students to keep their files organized effectively? What do you do? Because that's an issue we've had. We had 3 of our seniors this year who started, OneNote was on their machine. They started using it on their own. But of course, you have to have a username and password to do it. We didn't have all of our students in. We finally got them all in. But they came to me and they said, Ms. Williams, why are we not using this? One of them said, my grades, once I started using this, or once she started using it to keep up with all of her stuff for all of her classes, her grades went from C's to A's. And she said simply by keeping everything organized, because it keeps it in tabs, it keeps your pieces of paper, it keeps everything where it needs to be so you don't lose it. Because you know how kids are, they'll go to save something and they have no clue where it is on their
Or what they
machine.
named it.
Yeah, especially if they're using notes or something, there's no telling where it could go if they've got all these folders and subfolders and everything else. And so how do you guys teach your kids to stay organized on their laptops? What do you do?
I mean, it's not even laptops, it's just files in general, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have those that, I mean, it's just like your binders and your lockers and everything else, you have those that, I mean, you can teach organization and creating files and how to name things, and you're gonna have those that follow it and put it exactly in the place, and you're gonna have those where you open the locker and everything falls out, like you open up their folder, if I open their folder at school, I couldn't find anything in there because they're telling what it's named. It's got all these, it's got, strange names, everything. And I think that that's part of, we can only teach the skills, but it's still going to come out in the kid's personality.
Right.
Teachers do.
Yeah.
Well, here's
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this. I didn't realize it until I was having an issue, and our IT guy came and sat next to me, and I realized OneNote, you can go in and create a class, just like in Google Classroom or something like that. And if you throw something onto a certain section in your OneNote, it throws it into all of them, every single student it does. And so you basically, as the teacher, can keep them organized and making sure they're putting everything where it goes automatically.
And you can see all of their stuff
And
as
you
well.
can see all of their stuff, but you have to do it in the online tool. You can't do it on a device.
Or you have to set it up as a class notebook.
Right,
Yeah,
and you have to do it in
yeah.
Google Chrome. It does not work in Safari, just to let you know if you're on a Mac.
Also, Microsoft has recently released something called Microsoft Classroom, which is very much like Google Classroom, except for the Office 365 environment. It's not as rich as Google Classroom yet, but it's very new and it's in active development. So for those of you who are Microsoft schools, definitely check it out. I mean, particularly if OneNote class notebook doesn't really fit the way your teachers like to work.
Yeah.
You know, the whole assignment exchange structure, I think, is revolutionary in Google Classroom, and it's really being mirrored in Microsoft Classroom. It allows for much more iterative.
With my little ones in iPad, starting in first grade, we go in, at the beginning of the year, we set up in their Google Drive a first grade folder, then I'll add a document to the photos folder, and then try to teach them to put stuff in the appropriate places. We talk a lot about cloud storage, and their iPad gets run over by a bus, lots of different things.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, I go in with them and we take all their work that they've done that's on their iPad and move that. So that, I mean, it's not much, but they do have kind of a working portfolio in their Google Drive of each year, so it's kind of going.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we went in and had everybody in their Google Drive create a 16, 17 folder and then create subfolders, one for every one of their classes. But there's a lot of things that they do on their machine and elsewhere, like it can't be saved in there, or it's just not, I don't know, it's just not easily found wherever it is. I don't know. It'd be easier to have like a virtual notebook to where you had tabs and sub-tabs and pages, and anyway, that's what our seniors liked about it. So we're going to try it next year. We'll let you know how it goes.
And Evernote, people like.
Yeah, Evernote, yes. Evernote is very much like that. And the one thing about OneNote is it's so limited, and there's so many things it does not do.
And you have to make sure to check if you don't want them to make a copy of what it is before you have them on your page, because then they can ruin your whole.
Yeah. So we're really going to have to look at that next year.
That was
a microwavable notebook.
Microwavable notebook.
I haven't heard of that.
One of our teachers showed us and was so excited about it. She was like, oh my God. It's really, it's
microwave.
What is it? What is a microwavable notebook?
And then you fill it up, and then when you're finished, you microwave it, and it clears all the sheets. And
You have to use a certain type of ink but it's like Vic makes a pen with this.
Wow.
It's not
That is too funny.
So you never have to buy another notebook again.
It's called
Just
a
one
rocket book.
Yeah,
Reusable
rocket
notebook.
book. Type it in up there and see.
Rocket book. All right, so
It's
let's
pretty
take a look at the
funny.
rocket book.
It's pretty cool, but
I don't know if we
just
just really.
But your notes are gone.
We just laughed because this teacher that brought it to our attention, we were totally not expecting it from her.
Rocket book.
Oh, there it is right there, rocket book.
Bad word.
That must be it.
Oh, it's cloud synced.
Oh, okay.
There's some pretty cool thought into it, actually.
I have one other tool that I wanted to share with you all.
Turn it back up,
Oh,
because it hums.
Picture of a page and it'll automatically digitize it. Then put it in the microwave and your notes will disappear, letting you use your pages again. Each page has its own QR code, sort of like personal DNA, and the menu to check off where you'd like to store: Dropbox, Evernote, Google Docs, email, or anywhere you've indicated. To get fresh blank pages, stick Rocketbook in the microwave with a mug of water on it. Then flip it over and do the same on the other side. The friction pen ink is thermochromic, meaning it turns clear with heat and will disappear. You might see a faint ghost image from the pen pressure of previous doodles, but it's nothing too noticeable. The friction ink will still work, and the picture you snap won't pick up the ghostwriting when you upload to the cloud. Maker Joe LeMay and co-founder Jake Epstein understand the value of getting ideas out of their heads and onto paper.
Very interesting.
Very interesting.
I had not heard of that one. That's another good one. I don't know that I'd like that though. I don't know.
I know. Are you gonna get one?
I just don't want to have to go to the microwave all the time.
And then what happens if they miss the cloud or something, and all of a sudden they're all gone?
Yeah.
They're like, ah.
Sorry, I microwaved my notes.
but our 6th grade teacher's using it. So.
Well, that's great. That's fun. I can see kids using it. I can see, my son would love that.
That's what I was like, what kids?
He's 20 years old and he loves technology. That would be him.
I've got our name picker whenever we're ready to wrap.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Yeah, there's an online service called Scribble. Are any of you all using that?
I've heard of it, but we don't use it.
I found it a few years ago, and it was pretty new, but it has developed like crazy. It's basically an online research and writing tool, and the idea is you go out to various websites and kind of like Evernote Web Clipper, you clip articles and pieces of research, and then they show up in essentially an online notebook with all of your clippings, and then you can go through each one, highlight them, and tag them. And this is the exciting thing for me, that you get to, if you're looking for a specific thing in your research project, you can tag it and highlight it with a color that's linked. And then you can pull your highlights right into Google Docs, and it will, just like EasyBib, it'll auto-create your citation.
Oh, that's great.
Scribble, Scrible, just one B. And they have a pretty advanced free version for education. They also have a paid version that's like $1,000 per school for a site license, but which also then allows the teacher to make specific assignments to a group of students linked to Google Classroom. And so anyway, particularly as an English teacher, the idea of being able to tag specific themes and then pull your highlights out that are tagged in that way is huge. Because it's collaborative.
Another great resource is Grammarly. Do you guys use Grammarly?
Yes.
I don't know what I would do without Grammarly on my machine. Because what you do is you load it on here, and it corrects your grammar in anything you're on your whole computer, which is fabulous. And it corrects your punctuation. And there's so many times you go and you have 2 green lines under it. Where it doesn't matter where you are on your machine. 2 green lines under it, and you just right-click, and it'll say what it needs to be, and you just click on it, and it just changes it. And it's fabulous. I mean, really, I use it every day because I make so many mistakes in my emails. So I would definitely check it out because it's a fabulous resource. I can see it being very helpful to students. And the good thing is it teaches them the proper use of how to do things, is what it does. So that whenever they're really writing papers and they don't have that technology, they're like, oh yeah, that's right, I need a comma here, I need this there. So yeah, it's really good. Okay, let's see here. Anything else? This has been a good meeting. Real good meeting. Okay, so I guess we're ready for our door prizes. I love door prizes. Those are fun. Okay, so the first 4 door prizes is, let's see who's going to get those. That's these 4 right here. And then we're going to do it all again, and it'll be these 2.
Peter.
Woohoo! All right, so we've got VR classes. We have a Bluetooth selfie stick, a non-Bluetooth selfie stick, and a jump drive, which you can't have too many jump drives.
I know you can't. Oh, that's a nice one.
Decision.
I know.
Hard.
It is so hard. Okay, who's the next? You take VR classes.
Yeah.
Love those VR classes.
Thank you.
Okay?
I love some of those.
Randy! All right, which one did you got?
Yeah.
This one right here. Yep. All right, the Bluetooth. All right. Bluetooth selfie stick. So now we have the regular selfie stick and the jump drive.
Lynn.
Woo! Okay, we'll just, I've got both of those.
I've already got them.
Go ahead.
She just likes to get them.
I do. I love to get them.
She likes to
I love Christmas morning. I just can't wait. I can't sleep.
And then you
on
probably
Christmas
don't love
Eve.
what you get.
Wait, hold on. Whitney.
Oh, wow.
All right, what would you like?
Selfie
Selfie stick. Okay, last but not least. Lena, you get a jump drive. Awesome. Okay, so can you reset it?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Okay. Okay. So let's see here. Again, this one is the premium version of basically those classes. Again, it has headphones. ones, it's got a trigger, because you have to have a trigger if you're gonna play certain games and things like that. And then it also has the volume, it'll do Bluetooth. And then you've got this, which is completely dunkable in water, totally waterproof, very good stereo speaker.
First winner is
We all look like little kids. Like
Christina.
Which one would you like, Christina?
I guess I'll try this.
She's gonna try those. All right. Then who gets the speaker?
the dunkable speaker.
The dunkable speaker.
Zero.
All right.
Different people.
All right. Would anyone like to propose that we adjourn or move that we adjourn? All right. We got a movement. Second. All right. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you, Facebook, for being here with us.
Eat more food up here.
Sorry, Facebook, you can't eat the food we've got.
Now, will that be our